Welcome back viewers. In today's video, let us look at the similarities between the two epic novels Ponniyinselvan Selvan and Game of Thrones. Let us first look at the history behind the story of Game of Thrones. American novelist George R. Martin started writing a novel series named A Song of Ice and Fire in 1991. Although it was initially planned to be a 3-part novel, it eventually ended up with a total of 7 parts. The first book in the series was named A Game of Thrones and was released in 1996. This was followed by the second part, A Clash of Kings, in 1998. The third part, A Storm of Swords, in 2000. The fourth part, A Feast for Crows, in 2005. And the fifth part, A Dance with Dragons, in 2011. 2 more parts, namely The Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring, are yet to be completed. Martin has been working on the 6th book for the past 11 years. In 2007, HBO decided to adapt this novel into a television series. They used the name of the first book in the novel, Game of Thrones, as the name of the entire series instead of calling it A Song of Ice and Fire. The first season of this TV series was released by HBO in 2011. Following the grand success of Season 1, HBO continued its TV adaptation of the rest of the novel. However, since only 5 parts of the original novel were available, George R. Martin provided HBO with the major plot points of the remaining 2 parts of the novel. Using this, HBO was able to complete the TV series using their own screenplay. However, these later seasons of the novel, especially the final 8th season, were not as popular among the fans compared to the earlier seasons. Now, let us look at the history behind Ponniyinselvan Selvan. Author Kalki Krishnamurthy serialized this novel in the magazine Kalki from the year 1950 to 1954. It comprises 5 parts, namely Puduvellam, Fresh Floods, Sulal Katru, Whirlwind, Kolaival, Killer Sword, Manimagudam, Jeweled Crown, Tyagasigaram, Pinnacle of Sacrifice. Many celebrities, including veteran actors MGR and Kamal Hassan, have attempted to adapt Ponniyinselvan Selvan into a movie but failed. Even director Maniratnam has made multiple attempts in the past before he finally succeeded in his efforts to turn this epic novel into a 2-part movie by 2021. Both Game of Thrones and Ponniyinselvan Selvan have a common central plot. Both stories revolve around the power struggles to decide the heir of the throne following the death of the bedridden emperor. The story travels through the points of views of multiple prime characters in both novels. Now, let's look at the similarities between the characters in both novels. Let's first look at Sundaracholan from Ponniyinselvan Selvan and Robert Baratheon from Game of Thrones. Both of them are emperors of the kingdom at the beginning of the story, and the main plot traces the treacherous plans laid down and cunning games played to claim the throne. However, in Game of Thrones, King Robert gets killed, but in Ponniyinselvan Selvan, King Sundaracholan continues to remain in his deathbed throughout the novel. Let us next compare Alvarkadiyan Nambi from Ponniyinselvan Selvan with Lord Varys from Game of Thrones. Both of them are unmarried, chief spies of the kingdom who appear in several disguises throughout the story. They both are very loyal to their kingdom and are known for being trustworthy. They both even share similarities in their physical appearance, as both of them are plump figures with a bald head. Next, we'll look at Pungulali from Ponniyinselvan Selvan and Bernie of the Tat from Game of Thrones. Both of them are daring, carefree and independent women who possess many man-like traits as well. Bernie fights in the battlefield like a man, and Pungulali rides a boat and single-handedly takes on a wild tiger. Both of them have a one-sided liking towards a prince, but unfortunately, both their romantic dreams never realize. Some of Pungulali's traits are also noticed in Arya Stark. Both of them are bold characters who don't give a second thought once they have set their mind on something. They both travel through the story like raging wildfire, which no one can control. Pungulali always carries her hand knife, which she uses to threaten everyone, and similarly, Arya carries around her little sword called Needle. The fourth set of characters that we are going to look at is Periya Paluvettariyar from Ponniyin Selvan and Twin Lannister from Game of Thrones. Both are strong and powerful elderly characters who were seasoned warriors right from their young age. Both their ancestors had been loyal aides to the emperor's family for many generations, and this made them the second most powerful person in the kingdom after the king. Both characters have an inner power thirsty and vengeful nature. Now let us look at Vanati from Ponniyin Selvan and Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones. Both of them are daughters of petty rulers in their kingdom, and both of them are portrayed as gentle and delicate characters at the beginning of the story. As the story moves on, both of them get a face to a lot of struggles and hardships, which transforms them into a very strong and highly enduring character by the end of the story. Sansa's transformed character bears a lot of similarities to the character Kundavai from Ponniyin Selvan in terms of courage, knowledge and tactfulness in single-handedly managing the political affairs of the entire nation. Both Sansa and Kundavai have great affection towards their brothers, and both of them help in the administration of the land when their brothers set out for war. They are both always suspicious about the women companions of their brothers. The sixth in our list will be Parthibendra Pallavan from Ponniyin Selvan and Theon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. Both of them are from the lineage of the fallen kingdom and were fostered under the care of another kingdom. They both possess the inner desire to reclaim their lost kingdom. Both Parthibendran and Theon are close friends to the eldest son of the ruler of their kingdom of refuge and accompany them in their battles, Aditya Karikalan in Ponniyin Selvan and Robb Stark in Game of Thrones. However, their ways part during the course of the story. Next, let us look at Vandiyathevan from Ponniyin Selvan and Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. Both of them have a lot of differences in their physical appearance. While Vandiyathevan is a handsome young lad loved by everyone around, Tyrion is an ugly dwarf detested by many. However, both of them exhibit several striking resemblances in their character traits. Both of them are very talkative characters and use their wit and street-smart nature to deal with a lot of complicated and tricky situations. Although both of them are pure at heart, they use lot of lies and deceit to outsmart their opponents. Both of them get interact with the most of major characters in the novel. Even though Vandiyathevan is the protagonist of Ponniyin Selvan and Tyrion is not exactly the lead protagonist of Game of Thrones, we have compared both of them because of the similarities in their basic character trait. The next four characters that we are going to discuss will certainly reveal a lot of spoilers in both the stories, and those who do not wish to continue may skip the rest of the video. The next set of characters is Aditya Karikalan from Ponniyin Selvan and Robb Stark from Game of Thrones. Both these characters are the firstborn sons to their fathers and are considered by everyone to be the rightful heir to their father. They both exhibit traits of tremendous courage, bravery and aggression, and are great warriors at the battlefield. The entire audience will undoubtedly expect them to become the next emperor, but to everyone's disappointment, both of them get murdered. There is even a glaring similarity in their deaths, where both of them visit a local ruler's palace as guests and are killed by a treachery. The ninth in our list are Nandini from Ponniyin Selvan and Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. Both of them are daughters of the emperors who lose their kingdom and are killed by their opponents. They are both brought up as orphans in a foreign land and face a lot of hardships in their childhood. Both of them are gifted with intoxicating beauty, which they use to seduce men and make them obey her orders at will. Both of them have the fire of vengeance burning intensely in their hearts, and their never-ending desires to attain the throne are also similar. In both stories, this character never gets to become the queen at the end. They have both shades of positive and negative traits, and this character always continues to be an enigma to the audience. Cersei Lannister, another negative character from Game of Thrones, also bears a number of similarities to Nandini in their basic nature and quest for the throne. The 10th set of characters comprises Madurandagan from Ponniyin Selvan and Joffrey Baratheon from Game of Thrones. Both are introduced as princes and are apparent heirs to the throne in both stories. However, both of them are not the true-born sons of their fathers as the world believes. the secret is known only to their foster mothers in both stories. Both these characters exhibit arrogance and self-conceit and are highly unpopular among the subjects of their land. The last in our list are Sendanamudan from Ponniyinselvan Selvan and Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. Both of them are introduced as innocent and amicable characters, but eventually turn out to be the true-born heirs to their respective fathers who were kings. Both of them are unaware of their true identity and are brought up as orphans in totally insignificant backgrounds. The revelation of the secret behind their ancestry becomes a major plot twist in both stories. Some of the characteristics of Jon Snow are also observed in Varman from Ponniyinselvan Selvan. Both of them are detested wars and participated in battles only when the absolute need arose. Both of them were benevolent and the welfare of their people was always their priority. Just like how Ponniyinselvan Selvan gets sent away from his motherland to Sri Lanka, Jon Snow gets sent away to the Wall to protect on the realm. Both Kalki and George R.R. Martin are great fans of writer Alexander Dumas, and this was probably a reason for the likeness in their styles of writing. Both stories' flashback sequences are told in a non-linear narration, and the present timeline of the story was told from the points of view of various key characters in linear format. So far, we saw the similarities between the two novels. Now, let us look at the differences. Game of Thrones happens in a completely imaginary land called Westeros, making it a work of pure fiction, whereas Ponniyinselvan Selvan happens in the actual historic locations of Tamil Nadu, including Tanjavur, Kudandai, and is based on real-life characters, adding it to the genre of historic fiction. Another major difference is that Game of Thrones is a story filled with supernatural creatures such as White Walkers, zombies, and dragons, and has a lot of paranormal activity like witchcraft, alchemy, and wizardry intertwined in its storyline. Ponniyinselvan Selvan, on the other hand, is a story which revolves around the emotional struggles of real-life human beings with absolutely no supernatural element in it. So here ends our comparison video. If you have noticed any other similarities between the two stories, kindly let us know in the comments below. Since Game of Thrones was a too long story, it was made into a TV series comprising 8 seasons. However, director Mani Ratnam has succeeded in compressing the 5-part novel into a crisp 2-part movie series. Let us appreciate and encourage the Herculean task accomplished by the team Ponniyinselvan Selvan and wish them the best. If you like this video, kindly share it with your friends and please consider subscribing our channel for Ponniyinselvan Selvan related trivia and updates.